This TikTok girl at 19 years old is already in $69,265 in debt. And apparently, here is why.
I have $70,000 in debt at 19 years old, and here's why. Last year I took a loan to go to college, but
So she took out a $28,250 loan from New York University Flywire. Okay, interesting.
ended up dropping out after one semester.
But she dropped out of college after one semester. She still has to pay that loan though.
Used my credit card to buy crypto. Haven't earned anything yet.
So she then put money on a credit card to buy crypto, basically, and still hasn't made any money from that.
Spent a week at a hospital and still
Spent a week in the hospital, so 11,200
trying to pay off my
and
medical bills.
7,540. Yeah.
And lastly, I got my mom a new car for Christmas.
And she got her mom a new car for $21,535. So she was already in a good amount of debt and then decided, you know what? What's the best choice for me financially? I know. Get into debt for a vehicle that won't even be mine. That is that's crazy to me. That is so crazy to me. Now, I also want to show something right here. So basically what? She had the $69,265. I'll just put 70,000, right? So let's say that she were to put $70,000 into something like the S&P 500, right? And let's see how much money she would end up actually having after a few decades because she's 19, right? So let's see. Retirement age is about 65, so 65 minus 19 is about 46 years, right? So estimated interest rate, the S&P 500 averages about 10% over the lifetime of it. So 10%. We'll do a variance range of 1% difference. Compound frequency annually. Yep. Let's see. So, her being in that much debt at 19 is basically costing her $5,612,567.24. Like, think about that for a second. Imagine you decided to do a few choices. And by the way, this is just a few choices, and it cost you this much money. Like, maybe you'll rethink about just automatically going down the debt route because this is pretty horrendous. Like, wow. Imagine losing basically like $6 million just because you weren't thinking about your choices like at all. Now the thing is, I don't necessarily put too this is the problem, right? Because at 19 years old, you're probably not very financially literate, right? So I don't want to put like a lot of shame on her because again, you're 19, so it's like you don't really have much experience in terms of like finances, right? At least most 19-year-olds don't, because in most schools, finances are not taught to you. I mean, I think in most schools, you're not even taught how to write a check. So that's pretty crazy too. It's really sad to see someone so young make such a horrendous mistake with their finances. Although technically this is like multiple mistakes with her finances. It's bad, right? Now, based off her TikTok, right? She is also like a software engineer apparently. If that's true, don't know. Like the thing with like TikTok and all this sort of stuff, you don't really know if like what people say is like true, right? So for example, right, she says she's a female engineer, right? She says that she got paid $200,000 from her paycheck from working at Google. Then apparently she was like laid off from Google. Then she apparently is like a TikTok side hustle individual. Then maybe she's like living off of her daddy's money or something. Like it's so like confusing as to like what her actual financial situation is. It might be all completely fake, right? That's the reality, right? But let's first say, for this example, that she is 19, that she did make 200K a year, or has the capability of making 200K a year. What would be her best route? Well, her best route would be to cut down on her expenses, pay down her debt off, and end up putting money into an emergency fund and then put money towards her investments so that she could actually try to make millions and millions of dollars by the time that she retires, and she never has to worry about money pretty much ever again. Which, by the way, if you want to learn how to get out of debt, go down below. It's just, this is a difficult situation to be in, right? Because let's say that she's not a software engineer. Let's say that she's not able to make a lot of money. Let's say that she doesn't have a rich dad or a wealthy boyfriend or whatever. You are now in a situation, and like let's say that she actually does have the $70,000 in debt. You're now in a situation where you don't have a lot of earning capacity, but you are facing a pretty massive financial burden. So there's really only a few routes out of it, right? Increasing your earning capacity by working multiple jobs or working a better job that you can get that would actually pay more. Maybe something like in the form of sales, where you're not basically limited by like an hourly wage. Next is you got to cut down your expenses like crazy so that you could just start sending money straight towards the debt. And the third one, which I really wouldn't recommend, but potentially she might have to, depending on her specific circumstance, which is bankruptcy. The only problem with that, bankruptcy isn't really going to solve her problem because if the $70,000 in debt is true, she can't wipe out her student loans. She's got about 50 grand plus, not student loans. Well, 40,000 plus, not student loans. And she has like medical debt as well. The car probably is worth like half what she bought it for. So it's like she really doesn't have a lot of options. So bankruptcy actually isn't really that much of a tangible option. But yeah, she's going to have to earn more money, spend less money, and really work hard on paying off that debt because this is not a safe situation. Even if she was actually making like 200K or had the capacity to make 200K, because nearly $70,000 in debt without really anything for it is a pretty bad situation to be in.